let's examine the difference between how Miami is experiencing this and how the country is about to experience it, because I think the greatest indignity here against the respecting of basketball is that somebody who is beloved, who died in a helicopter, had 81 points and was rightfully second on a historic list, that basketball's distortions couldn't compromise. And the way this game was played last night was silly. Nobody goes to the game to watch a record number of free throws from a single player. 43 free throws. He made more free throws in a game than anyone ever has, and he took more free throws in a game than anyone ever has. And it's because they played him the entire second half, and the whole point of what everyone was doing, because they know the Heat are above average and the Wizards are historically bad, cannot win basketball games on the road at all. The Wizards exist basically to be the Washington Generals. Can we look up the record of the Washington Generals all time against the Harlem Globetrotters? Because that's what it felt like last night. You had everything. I expected at one point Bam to take a bucket of confetti and throw it at some kids in the first row, pretending it's a bucket of water because it's the signature Harlem Globetrotters move.
I would have preferred, knowing what we know now, and you knew this was going to be the reaction once the game ended. You knew that there was going to be a lot of venom based on not just passing Kobe Bryant, but also the way it went down, of course, the last few minutes. Knowing what we know now, like, I would have preferred that he left the game with like 5 or 6 minutes left. A game that was not in doubt anymore, and he had like 74 points or whatever like that, and we didn't get to the Wizards doing the nonsense and then the Heat responding with their own nonsense. I don't know what the crowd reaction would have been if they took Bam out in the middle of the fourth quarter. He had 74 points, so close, to Kobe Bryant.
You cannot care. You cannot care about what anyone else thinks. It's about the people in that huddle. It's not even about your customers.
Right, like Spo was in a weird spot because, Eric Spoelstra, you should take him out. Like, the game was in doubt. You got to have respect for the game. You have to do whatever Bam Adebayo wants in that spot. If he wants to stay in the game and go for the record, he stays in the game and goes for the record.
I thought it was fun, right? Like, you look around, it's like, this is something that is so out of character for Spo. Hey, foul him so he can get the shots. It's like, what you want to see from your coach is being behind the guy who's having this incredible game.
Do you think the Heat would have done that? Because you saw Spo was signaling for that. Would the Heat have done that? Would Eric Spoelstra have called for that if the Wizards weren't playing the way that they were playing?
No way.
My guess is no.
It all started, Bam was going to get there. Like, the way he was scoring and the way he was getting
incredible
to the line naturally, he was going to get to this point, whether the Wizards,
Lizards.
if the Lizards had continued to play with the pace that the game had been going at before the final 4:30.
Why couldn't they just play him straight up like grown men?
Yeah, it was crazy.
Because he owned them.
With
That's
4
why.
minutes and 30 seconds left in the game, they started triple teaming him before he got the ball. And it was so funny because on the broadcast, Eric Reed said something to the effect of like, oh, well, pride is starting to kick in as they don't want him to chase the record.
Pride is starting to kick in. They have like 6 wins on the season.
John Crotty said, like, oh, my pride probably would have started kicking in somewhere around the middle of the third quarter as he had 60-something points. Like, it was crazy to see. And Eric Reed earlier in the game, not even talking about Bam, referring to the Lizards' defense as non-confrontational, which made Crotty laugh out loud. But the crazy part is Bam probably gets there on his own without all of this because of the way he was getting to the line.
You see,
and instead there's so much silliness that it doesn't make a difference, though. He still sets the record, and nobody is going to remember in the long run how.
Oh, I disagree with that.
No, but you want to know why? Because do you know how Kobe did it?
I do know how he did it.
He took 13 of 17 shots for the Lakers in the fourth quarter. He took 7 free throws at the end to get to that record.
But also, do you want to point out that that was a game that the Raptors were ahead most of the game, and Kobe's 81 led the Lakers to a comeback.
And then they were up by like 18 points.
But that's an important note.
With 5 minutes to go.
Well, but Zaz, you remember
Bam needed to be in that game.
Zaz,
it was a 12-point game. I'm sorry.
You remember the details on the Kobe-Toronto game. Jalen Rose certainly remembers the details. But when we criticize this, as many people will do, Udoka just did it. It happened against the Wizards. Nobody remembers who Wilt did it against. That does not matter.
Look, we're not sure that it actually happened.
That too. You mentioned John Crotty earlier. That wasn't the funniest thing about the broadcast with John Crotty. It was at one point in the first quarter where Eric Reed was like, and John, tell us what it feels like to be in a zone like this. And he's like, why? How would I know? how would I possibly know? I never had anything like that.
Yeah, the Kobe fan perspective, as you guys are highlighting, that was certainly an interesting prism to view this thing through. Beloved, I would say the one pushback that I would have, and Zaz made some good points, is that was also in Kobe's character. I think this is objectively hilarious that Bam Adebayo, of all people, when the whole thing around this player for his entire career is be more aggressive, decided, you know what, for once, I'm going to eat.
He averages 4.5 free throws a game.
For once, I'm going to be Spam Adebayo, and I'm going to make this happen for myself. And I'm glad that you mentioned the fans in that arena.
They looked like they were having the time of their life.
Yeah, I've been positioned as the Heat hater just because I think that this is another lost season that ends with them not getting out of the first round, and I will be right about that. But I think that, look, the Miami Heat, as Dwayne Wade, the face of this franchise, said, they needed a buzz. This town needed to be woken up. And Bam said that much in the postgame.
So did Spo.
Yeah, and he finally did something to wake this market up. I would say that both nationally and locally, and I'm afraid the ratings bear this out, this is as irrelevant as this basketball team, this proud basketball team has been, maybe ever. And they, God bless them for having that night and deciding, you know what, we're not going to be the culture, no fun team. We're going to have fun for the people in that building. Bam Adebayo, of all people, is going to go for this record.
Well, he's the perfect guy for the team.
And it was really enjoyable.
I have to stop, Mike, and I understand that through your narcissism is where you view everything. This is not the most irrelevant Heat team that there has ever been. That's a ridiculous thing to say. They still have that sold-out streak. The people in that arena did enjoy themselves. But Dwayne Wade does speak to something, and this pissed off the Heat. A lot of members of the Heat thought this was somebody outside, somebody going outside the family to criticize the family. Let's hear this sound from Dwayne Wade.
The city needs to be woken up. It's not alive no more. You know, when we was here, bro, it was buzzing in these streets. We've been here the last couple of days. There ain't nothing buzzing outside.
And nothing at all. I had to go home early.
Bro, I'm leaving too. I thought I was about to stay here. I'm getting out of here. There's no energy here. Yeah. And this city deserves and needs a person that can bring that energy here and take it over. No one's here.
He would take
from that standpoint of that buzz and that energy. When he came, it changed the entire, the culture here shifted. When Brian and them came, so I felt it alive and I felt it buzzing. Then I've been out here the last couple of days. I'm sleepy.
I've been in the house smoking hookah watching
yeah, I'm sleepy.
Clips.
I mean, look who's talking there. What an impossible standard. Like, what are they talking about? There's no awareness of who they are as they say that.
No. Again, doubling down, it is the most irrelevant the franchise has been for an extended period of time. Don't cherry pick one bad year where they came back the very next year. Don't cherry pick bad years in which they had Dwayne Wade, one of the best players in the league, on their team and an asset you knew that you could build around. They're irrelevant. The national games bear this out. The local ratings bear this out. This is the least interesting this team has been for an extended period of time in franchise history. Full point. That is fact.
No, it isn't, Mike.
What? Give me a worse 3-year stretch.
Mike, start in the 80s.
They were an expansion team that people were getting excited about.
Before Pat Riley got here, there's a block of time where they were wildly irrelevant.
I watched a bunch of those games. They had G Money. They had teams that were fighting for playoff spots. Right in that zone.
You're the local Heat basketball historian. Who's right on this?
Mike.
You think this is the most irrelevant they've been in their franchise's history?
Mike, you need to amend that statement to at the very least, and we can have the discussion, I don't even know if I agree with it then, but at the very least you have to amend the statement to since Pat Riley got here.
Okay, I mean, it's 3 years.
I mean, they're trying to have Kevin Willis and Billy Owens. Come on.
Yeah, and that team made the playoffs and was out in the first round a couple of times, the same fate that this team
I'm not doing this with you today. You think they're irrelevant. You've stopped watching them, and so everyone has. I get it. It all happens the way.
Hey, why am I being attacked here? Why am I being attacked here? Like, I've barely spoken.
This is not the way.
I want Jeremy to get in here, and you frame everything through the prism of my narcissism. Get out of here. All right, this was a fun night for South Florida.
You get out of here.
Oh, Jesus Christ. A guy calls you out on it and gets sent away. Jeremy, by all means, I
Minor
want
penalty,
you
2 minutes. Murdering the show with their bare hands and a dismemberment kit in cold blood.
Wow.
Bull is
not the day for your negativity on the Miami Heat.
Wow.
I will say, I do think that the 3-year span that he's talking about maybe isn't exactly right, but I appreciate his support and in the fact that we should just be celebrating this moment together rather than parsing the details of a 3-year span, because that a 3-year span. Like the first year he's talking about, they were coming off of a finals appearance, so they obviously were not irrelevant. They were the defending Eastern Conference champions. But this night, last night, happening for Bam Adebayo is special for a combination of reasons, because not only is he the only player that Spo would do that for, right? Like he's doing that for his captain because of everything Bam has been, because of everything he's worked himself into. But he passed the 10,000 point threshold with the Heat the game before. And what he talked about is it's not bad for a guy who was drafted to be a defender and a lob threat. Like he has worked himself, and like you mentioned,
He was
Dan,
supposed to be Clint Capella.
yeah, at best, like you were hoping he was Clint Capella. And the fact that he has developed himself into a player with the skill set to be able to reach 83 points. If 83 points was so easy and it could be done in this unethical way, then Steph Curry would have done it, or LeBron would have done it, or Kevin Durant would have done it.
You're right.
I don't
Well,
care who you're playing.
no.
Kobe
Well,
Bryant
look.
did his 81 points against a team that lost 55 games.
People have been criticizing the Wizards, and
Wizards.
throughout basketball history, there have been a lot of bad teams, and no one has put up 83 against any of them except one player ever. But if anyone in the league with their number one option played the way the Heat were playing toward the end of that game, there are many players in that league who could have gotten to 83 points playing that way. And I say that not to discredit at all the first quarter he had, which, as I say, was the most impressive quarter I have ever seen a Heat player have. It's just not the way they played the rest of the game, and certainly not the way they played the second half.
It's also when you talk about the guys that Jeremy was mentioning, Steph Curry, LeBron, KD, all these guys, like they don't need to do that, right? Like their whole thing is like, we have enough. Bam doesn't have that in his arsenal, in his trophy case. He needs an 83-point game like that.
Can we just acknowledge for the second time in NBA history that a duo was combined for over 100 points? Can we give it up for Bam Adebayo and Simone Fontecchio?